Hey, it's another week, another recipe. Come join me for a surprising cottage pie from 1936. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Courtney Morris and I cook history's forgotten recipes out of random cookbooks I find. And this month, I found out yesterday, is National Pie Month here in America. I don't know who makes this stuff up, but I'm gonna roll with this because it sounds really good. If you're new here, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy your stay. And if you're coming back for more, I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. So today, this pie is going to be something that is not going to be new to a lot of you. It's new to me because I've never had it and I've always been a little too squeamish to try it, but it's going to be something very commonplace for a lot of people. So I want you to watch this and let me know if you have any input on it. Today we're going to be trying out a cottage pie recipe from the London School of Dietetics from 1936 from their publication, Balanced Meals with Calorie Values. Now, this is an interesting text because within this time frame, I feel like the 30s through the 50s, even in here in America, there was a big push on dietetics and learning nutrition and how to eat properly, and I am curious to find out what this is about. The other reason I chose this was because it did not have green peas in it, which was one of the reasons I have not tried it yet. Let's get going. I'm kind of excited and I'm kind of a little terrified of this. All right, so we start with 1.5 pounds of potatoes peeled and boiled to make a mash, which I knew that was coming. All right, so we need to start with 1.5 pounds of potatoes peeled and boiled so we can mash them. All right, well that's perfect. So apparently this recipe, the earliest mention that I could find was in like 1791, and it has just stuck around as easy, fast comfort food for the masses in Great Britain and Ireland for years. And I found there's not one recipe for it. There are billions of recipes for this, and it made it really hard to try to figure out which one to do, especially the more modern recipes that get all fancy and stuff. I mean, they sound and look pretty darn good, but I wanted to go back kind of a bare bones. I mean, if you watched my channel any, you would know that I really do like having the challenge of cooking with nothing, to see how it tastes and how it goes, and what I could do if ever there was an emergency. So with the surgence of food science taking on the Western world, it doesn't surprise me that this recipe from the School of Dietetics in London, dietetics, has only a few ingredients because it's easy to monitor calories, it's easy to monitor fat content, and this book actually provides the nutrition information, and that's kind of unheard of for older recipes, to know exactly how much you're eating. Now this is where it kind of makes me go a little ugh, because I'm A, not a casserole person, B, not a ground beef person unless it's in tacos or a hamburger. There's not a lot in here flavor-wise, so I'm kind of scared I'm just gonna get a raw beef flavor, but so it says to use 3/4 pounds of meat, and this one doesn't specify what kind of meat, which is odd to me that you would be able to get an exact calorie count and a fat content count and protein from whatever meat you did, because it does vary. But I am using ground beef because I know Shepards Pie has lamb. I'm gonna make a cottage pie because I don't have lamb. So it says I need to mince whatever meat I need to use, which I've got this already, and add 1 ounce of onion. All right, 1 ounce of onion is not a lot. I'm gonna chop these up a little more fine, I think. So I'm going to put this in with this. All right. That's disgusting, but whatever. I am a big meat eater. I love beef, I love steak, but ground beef it's just... Okay, so this says to place this in a dish and then season with salt and pepper. I feel anymore there's so much to this recipe that should be there, but honestly, if you go off the name Shepards Pie and you're looking at shepherds, who weren't exactly the richest people in the world way back when, that's probably all they had was a carrot and a potato, and I don't even get to put carrots in this one, which there's not really much veg at all. Onion, potato. But, that's okay. Those are 2 staples in my kitchen anyways, so I can't complain about that. Okay, so the next step is to add 3 tablespoons of, it said soup stock, or water. And in any case where it gives me an option, I'm gonna pick the more flavorful option, so I'm gonna go get some beef stock real quick. I'm going to be using a beef bouillon for this soup stock. And let's see, 1 teaspoon equals 1 cup. I only need 3 tablespoons, so I'm just gonna do a half so I don't waste it. All right, this is definitely an interesting way to make an interior of a pie. I've made plenty of pot pies, like chicken pot pie, turkey pot pie, where there is a sufficient amount of gravy in it, but I usually make the gravy first and then add everything and it's all one big gravy mix, but can't say I've ever done that before. That looks perfect and ready to mash. All right, these are ready to be mashed, and I need to add 1.5 ounces of butter. All right, I'll see you in a bit. I must say, I am getting a steam spa treatment here. My nose is starting to thaw out. I guess I could have let them cool off, but why bother? And honestly, you can't go wrong with a good potato. And I think mashed potatoes are probably one of the best things ever. These potatoes are trying to steal my spotlight. Okay, last step. We stick it on here. If this is any good and my family actually likes this, I am gonna be super okay with, making adjustments as needed, but how easy is this? It's literally dump and go. I mean, that's so easy. How many ingredients? 5? That's amazing. Okay, so from what I've seen in pictures, and I don't know if this is a modern day thing or what they did way back when, but I've seen like fork striations in the top. It looks pretty when it's baked, so I'm just gonna do that and see what happens. I don't know if this is how you do it correctly, but I'm just gonna experiment on this. I take it back. Potatoes taste like potatoes, by the way. I don't like that. It's too, if it was just the lines, it'd be kind of cool, but it made it it looks like a sweater, like an old sweater that's filled. I'm just gonna mush this out again and we're just gonna bake it and see what happens, but I think that's kind of ugly. If you know how to do that, and I know I'm doing that wrong because it obviously doesn't look like how it's like I'm envisioning it. If you know how to do it, please tell me. Maybe for the sake of decoration, I'm just gonna draw a little smiley face in here because it's gonna be good, right? That's my decoration of it. It's completely non-traditional, but whatever. I'm gonna stick it in at 350 degrees Fahrenheit because that's kind of a middle ground temperature, and I don't want to burn the crap out of it, but I also want it to cook long enough that the meat gets cooked. It says for a half hour to 3/4 of an hour until this part gets golden brown. So let's cross our fingers and let's hope this works. I'm not sure how to feel about this. It almost smells like, it reminds me of the smell of Hamburger Helper from when I went to a friend's house in like 3rd grade, and it wasn't great. I hope the meat's cooked. It was in there for 45 minutes, by the way, so I guess we'll just dig in. Oh, okay, the meat's cooked. I guess there's no real pretty way of doing this. So this is literally hamburger with mashed potatoes. I can see why you'd want some vegetables in this, but good grief, steam. I cannot get away from it in this video. I have a feeling this is gonna be a little too hamburgery for me, but let's see. There wasn't much flavoring, but let's see what the flavor of the food actually tastes like. Need some salt. Let's try that. I'm gonna do that before I make a judgment. First judgment, I guess, I could use salt. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's actually quite nice. Could it use gravy? Yes. Could it use vegetables? Most likely. Really, if you just have any meat or leftover meat and a potato, it's not bad. It really is not that bad. I'm gonna add a little more salt, but I tend to like my things salty, so I tend to undersalt because my family has died a few times when I have fully salted things to my liking. Okay, I'm really surprised about this because I was really thinking the texture of just the unseasoned ground beef was just gonna turn my stomach, but it's made it into a nice formed texture, and the potatoes plus the salt, and I can taste the onion and the beef broth. I can taste, the thing is I can taste all the flavors of each of the things I put in there. It's not one dominant flavor, and I actually really like that. Would I make this specific recipe again? Probably not, just for the lack of variety in there. If I did make this, I would adapt it to whatever I wanted. I'd probably add some of the vegetables, and I would make a gravy with it. So needless to say, this is not going to be dinner tonight. If I were you, I wouldn't necessarily make this one unless you really wanted to. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're going to make a shepherd's pie or a cottage pie and you don't already have a good recipe, I would search out a different, more modernized one. If you're still here watching with me, thank you so much for your support. I really, really appreciate it. I'm having so much fun, like usual, experimenting with these old recipes. I hope you enjoyed this little slice of cottage pie with me, or like the 3 that I've already eaten. If you enjoyed hanging out with me in my kitchen today, please hit the subscribe button. I upload every Monday. Hit the little bell notification to let you know that I did. And if you liked it, give it a like for me. I think it helps the video be seen across the platform. Otherwise, feel free to drop me a comment, drop me a recipe, let me know you're here. And while we're on the subject of pies and Pie Month, go check out my Wilton Pie video right over here. That was the very first one I did, and stay tuned for this month during Pie Month that I think I am going to be doing a second take at this recipe using some of the comments that you guys have given me and the feedback from what you remember as growing up of what Wilton Pie was. All right, I hope to see you here next Monday. I hope you have a great week. We'll see you later.